What's up, guys? I want to thank M Smizzle for bringing up this topic of conversation in the comment section. He asked me how I feel about the term volume PR. I'll get to that secondarily, but first of all, because it triggered a little mini rant by me, the comments, I want to say a PR, a personal record. Personal. That's the key word, personal record. So if somebody were to say hit a bench press PR, let's say 315 pounds, and it's a bro bounce and their ass comes off the bench and they posted 315 pound bench press PR, and inevitably some YouTube twink will be like, oh, that's not a PR, bro. You didn't pause and your butt came off the bench. That's not a PR. The thing is, if this person hitting this 315 pound bench press PR, their last PR was 300 with a bro bounce and their ass came off the bench, and this PR is 315 with a bro bounce and their ass came off the bench. Guess what? It's a PR. It's a personal record. It's an apples to apples comparison of their personal record, their personal best. So it doesn't have to meet conditions or internet standards, etc., to be a PR, because again, personal, that first word, personal, it is individual to that particular lifter. Obviously, we would like to see clean lifts to meet standards. If you're a power lifter in particular, you generally won't count a lift if it's not to meet standards, even if it's performed in the gym. But again, I digress. If somebody claims a PR to non-competition standards, that is perfectly fine, because it only has to meet their own personal conditions in which they performed the lift before to be a PR, because PR is personal. That. Personal. So that aside, again, you can't internet judge a personal record because it is personal to the individual. I could just babble about that for a long time. Anyway, how do I feel about volume PRs? I think volume PRs are fantastic. I think they are a great way to track progress. Given that nowadays, and I'm going to speak in regards to powerlifting in particular because that's what I do. Powerlifting is a 1 rep max sport. That's the act of powerlifting and competing. You get on the platform and you perform, single reps in front of judges. Few most of our training is not performing 1 rep maxes, with the exception of, a few lifters who train, a Bulgarian style, which again, very few lifters in powerlifting train that way, even fewer when you count successful powerlifters, but I digress. So the majority of our work is going to be volume work, and you can treat this two ways, and I'll go with 5x5s because that's one of my favorite rep schemes, sets and reps. So say your bench PR is 405 5x5. Well, not yours because you're probably a twink, but mine once was. Tongue in cheek, guys, don't get butthurt, you little twinks. Anyway, so you can go about making a volume PR in a couple different ways here. 405 5x5 is your PR. Well, if you do 405 for 5 sets of 6 instead of 5 sets of 5, that's a volume PR. If you do it for 6 sets of 5 instead of 5 sets of 5, that's a volume PR. If you do 410 for 5x5, where your last PR was 405 5x5 PR. Like I said, bunch of different ways depending upon your training block and how it's set up. If you're working a hypertrophy block, or if you're working into a strength block, or increasing volume, work capacity, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, there are all sorts of ways you can hit these technical volume PRs, and it just seems like some people get annoyed at this because they think you're just posting PR for the sake of PR. And a lot of times I don't even know mine are PRs anymore. I have to go look back at old footage and see. However, the value in tracking these volume PRs is, as I said, most of our training is not 1 rep maxes. It is volume training. And if you look at these volume PRs and you start accumulating volume PRs through starting at your hypertrophy block into your strength block, and you just start nailing, PR after PR after PR, it's a pretty clear indicator that by the time you get to your singles, that you are going to hit a new 1 rep max, that you're going to be ready for the platform, assuming you don't derp your peaking. So I think volume PRs are fantastic. I think if you're not tracking them, you should be. And if you want to brag about volume PRs, by all means, brag about them. They are indeed a PR. And again, going back to they're personal. So, if my PR is 405 5x5, and hell, if I chip it and hit 406 5x5, that's a PR, and I can claim it because it's personal to me, and it's a volume PR. And if you don't like volume PRs, I'm sorry about your luck. So there's that. And I guess that's about it as far as volume PRs. They're a great way to track progress, through off seasons and strength blocks when you're not necessarily going for new 1 rep maxes, when you're building that base that's going to lead to your new 1 rep maxes. So that's it, guys. It's kind of ranty, but not an angry cutting rant, because my belly is full. So peace.